was stupid. In some of the gameplay mechanics were stupid.
Michael, I want your take on this. Because Kathy and I started talking about this, and I want your take here. I'm curious. Because we were talking about how almost every Metroidvania is essentially typically very retro-styled in terms of aesthetic.
Yes.
You know, there's not a lot that are full-blown, you know, super pretty, modern, 3D visual, all that kind of thing. You know, not just like 2D side-scroll, but a lot of them stick to the 16-bit, you know, pixel look.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Ori, however, obviously chucks all that out the window and says, nope, we're going full pretty as fuck. And I love full pretty as fuck.
It was gorgeous.
But I think it comes at a price, and that it kind of muddies the borders and the definitions of like some of the surfaces and places where you can walk and, you know, where something's going to land you in damage.
Kind of like the CDI games for Zelda. There were times I'm like, and not to that extreme, but in a way, yes. There were platforms I'm like, can I jump on that? Can I not? What is part of the background? What is part of the foreground? What is part of the playing area?
Well, not just that, but I mean, some areas where, you know, the spikes kind of meshed to the climbable surface right next to them.
God,
it's like,
yeah.
Where does that start? Where does that stop?
Yeah,
what's safe? What's not?
There was a lot of parts like that in Ori that, yeah, the definition isn't really there, and like there are certain areas where yes, you can step on that, and certain areas where you shouldn't be able to step on it, but you can. And yeah, it got old pretty quick, but as I said, like
still beautiful game, beautiful
absolutely.
music.
As I said, just from watching one single gameplay trailer, I knew I had to have this game. And
I think I'd rather watch people play it than play it myself. I think that's what I've come to the conclusion of after playing all of this, playing Ori. That. I like watching people play it. I loved that part of it. I don't want to play it.
I want Ori merchandise. There is
some.
What is there?
Oh, my daughter.
I know there's a plushie.
My daughter loves
I think there's a couple
the Ori
plushies.
Stuff. God, she's drawn Ori.
What I
Go ahead.
I want like an amiibo, like with the little statue.
Oh, that'd be so cool. Oh, I totally get it.
I want something like that. That's what I want.
I would get it. I would get an amiibo.
Yeah.
Watch what you're gonna get is First for Figures gets a license deal and puts it out, and it's $500.
Fuck you. They just recently acquired the rights to Darksiders, and I'm furious because I don't have a couple grand to drop on more statues.
I know. You'll notice I don't have a single First for Figures Metroid figure either.
Really? Yep. Why not?
Because they're
clue.
Yeah.
I'm being sarcastic. I know. I've seen them. Oh, there's plenty of things I've seen that on there that I've wanted, but it's like, damn it.
The Okami Amaterasu one too.
Oh yeah.
God. Which reminds me, did I show you the Okami pins that I got from Fangamer?
No.
Yeah. So one of them is just, you know, like a
Don't fucking point, just go get it.
All right, fine. Hang on. I hope you appreciate this. I don't want to take them off my wall, but fine.
Oh, take them off the wall. It's not like you can't put them back up on the wall. Damn it. It's a push pin board, isn't it? God. What a wuss. Damn it. Next time I'm coming there, I'm gonna rearrange your push pins and put them in all different areas.
Sounds like a euphemism.
God.
All right, I've only taken down the important one, but there's
I'm
one.
Gonna mess with that board next time I come and visit you, and I'm gonna rearrange all those pins.
But there's one that's just a side view of the head of Amaterasu. There's another one which was this one, the Retribution disc.
Oh yeah, the mirror. You're off. There you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't see
Both
it.
cameras are on. I was trying to process
You
which
picked
camera.
the wrong camera, boy.
There we go. So yeah, it's the Divine Retribution disc.
Oh, neat.
But the best part is the disc fucking spins.
That's what I was about to ask. Does it spin?
So, but yeah, Fangamer's got some fucking. Fangamer's been wonderful for pins.
Yeah, my daughter has been checking out Fangamer, and she keeps finding stuff she wants. Mm-hmm. Trying to think what she got for her birthday from there.
They've got some gorgeous Hollow Knight stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a Hollow Knight. I think she got another Hollow Knight plushie. Because she's got Hornet. I think she wanted Coral.
I've got the one of the night. I don't have any of the other plushies.
I blame you, Larry, for introducing her to all these games.
No, I introduced them to you. After that, it's out of my hands.
Oh, God damn it. She's fallen in love with them more than anybody else. She is going to be... That's what she wants to do, design video games. Who knows? Maybe we'll be talking about one of the games she designed.
Mm-hmm. I will say, though, because I know you said you haven't played Blasphemous yet, Kathy.
No, I've been waiting for the collector's edition to come in, so then I'll
play it then.
Because I'm not double dipping like you guys all do, or triple dipping, or quadruple dipping, and all that other bullshit.
Well, I hadn't planned on double dipping, but I also wasn't expecting it to get like the super pretty edition either. I'm not mad that it did,
and
but
this is why I don't buy physical media, because I know if I want something, I'm gonna wait. Anyhow.
I lost a cap. Anyway, whatever. But no, I think you'll probably have a better time with that, because that you're gonna find that's a lot more in the vein of Hollow Knight, where it's more combat in high difficulty with the interconnected map.
I think that's what I think that's where it really comes down to it, is that Ori wasn't very didn't have a lot of the combat. And I like combat-based games. Well, especially in the Metroidvania ones. There has to be some level of combat. I like shooting. I like swinging a sword. I like fighting more. This Ori was more trying to movement, and I just could not handle the movement. Was a little too much for me at the time,
especially with like the bash mechanic that you literally used enemies to launch yourself in the opposite direction and shit like that.
I really liked that.
I think it was a great idea. My problem was I had a hard time getting anywhere with it. That's all.
The aiming for it was a bitch.
Yeah. Well, and then we were talking about this, whether to use the directional pad or the joystick, because that was the other thing where Larry was saying the joystick was more user friendly for this game as opposed to the directional pad, where we talked about, most Metroidvania games we want to use the directional pad, and that tends to work out better. My problem was it didn't matter whether I was using the damn directional pad or the joystick. I was screwing up everything. So,
see, that was my big thing with with Blasphemous, was at certain points the combat was excruciatingly difficult for me. And like the traversal aspect, which, as I said, I tend to enjoy that part of it slightly more. Yeah. The traversal aspect was slower and much more limiting.
Oh, okay.
Like, I really enjoyed Blasphemous, but like I said, Ori has probably been one of my favorite games in the genre. I'm really looking forward to the sequel.
That's the other thing too, is I think it looks like the sequel has the promise of being more combat heavy.
And that's why I'm definitely going to give the sequel a look. Well, first off, my daughter wants it, so we'll definitely have it. But I do want to go back and play Ori from my save file and go back and explore the world more and kind of see what maybe I missed and maybe I might find it a little bit more interesting. I don't know.
Well, and I think too, if you spend a little bit of time, if you spend some time with it, one, I know for a fact that there is one of the major abilities that you never picked up, which means there's a whole section. There is a section that you didn't touch.
Yeah.
Two, there are also.
Are you talking the dark area?
No, she didn't pick up the grenade throw.
There was a grenade throw? I could have had fun throwing grenades? Fuck yeah!
Yeah, the energy grenades.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it.
That was the missing ability out of your ability wheel. And then, additionally, too, there are some other things, mobility and exploratory-wise, in the skill tree that I think if you filled out the skill tree, you would really enjoy playing with.
And that might be the problem, is I didn't feel like I had to, and there didn't feel like any need to go looking. And maybe that was the problem there, too, is that maybe I would have enjoyed the ending a little bit more, or I might have had a little bit easier time, and maybe that would have made it more enjoyable. Because I'll tell you, when I first got to the last area with the fire, having to figure out all the fire stuff, that was pissing me off, because, like, how do I get up there?
Mm-hmm.
And it just didn't seem like I could get very far until, I took a step back and I started playing it, came back to it after a month.
Right.
But
like the triple jump certainly helps out a lot.
See, I didn't have that. I just had the
and
double.
that's one that you'll get from the skill tree.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So there's a lot of exploration I need to do. And that's probably where a lot of my frustration came, is that I could do it. It just, there were skills that would have made it easier. And I think that maybe was the frustration. I actually felt the whole time, I don't think I'm ready to be in this area.
Right. And at that point, pulling back and just kind of putzing around and spending time getting the ability points up to feed into your skill tree would have been beneficial.
Yeah. But I didn't do that because I'm a glutton for punishment when it comes to video games.
No, but you totally masochisted your way through it, though. You made it.
I did. Mm-hmm. That was probably the best part of all of it. But, that feeling of, God, this game sucks. I was seriously drained. It was horrible. I didn't like the fact how I felt after that game. Normally I feel like I did it, I completed it, I accomplished something. I felt like, God, that was a waste of my time. And that was horrible, because that game really isn't that bad. It is a beautiful game, and there's so much to like about it. And I was disappointed.
Side note, by the way, I had a thought on the discussion of what the fuck. Anyways, on the subject of the escape scenes, though, not having checkpoints.
Oh yeah.
So, my only thought, and I wonder if maybe it was anything that Milton got to talk to him about as he was working on it, and remind me to bring it up when we get him back on, hopefully in the next couple of months, once it's shipped. But in any case, my thought, or my personal take on it, though, is that one, it's pushing your ability as it should, as it's supposed to be a very pressured scene. But two, I think not having the checkpoints makes it so that when you do hit it, you have one flowing, coherent scene that you played through front to back, and no break. And they're not super long, but they do demand that you really,
they demand perfection.
So
I can see, yes, I wish there were checkpoints. Again, I'm a baby. I like easy games. But yeah, I do agree. I mean, It just seemed a little longer than it needed to be. There were some parts that could have been, left out, like that one area where I had to try to freaking whatever throw myself up and up and up. That part I hated. Having to break through that side wall. It could have given you a little bit, I think maybe just even an extra second. That's all I was looking for.
Right.
But anyhow. Alrighty. Well,
Ooh, I found the entrance to the other new section in Dead Cells. The dilapidated Arboretum.
Have fun with that. You guys have a wonderful evening. I gotta get going.
You too, dear. I'll talk to you later.
Ice cream. Ice cream.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. I know. I'm excited.
So
it's what I get for getting rear-ended tonight.
Aww.
By another car. I just want to clarify that. Gotta clarify that.
Insurance paid for your ice cream, did it?
No, no, not yet.